Hello and welcome to the 2019 Formula 4 Southeast Asia Championship, fueled by Petron. My name is Aaron Thompson. We're going to get you to all of the action in the 7th race, but before then, let's have a quick chat with Peter Thompson.
Hi guys, welcome to race 3 here at Sepang Circuit. We had just finished 2 great races yesterday. One was won by Luca Allen from Ireland and the second from Elias Stepanen from Finland. It's fantastic races. Who is going to win the 3rd race and the 4th race today? Will it be a new driver, or will we have one repeat winner?
Thank you very much, Peter. Now let's head up to race control to watch the start of the race.
India's Sneha Sharma is leading us around turn 15, so let's have a quick run down the starting grid. On pole position, Sneha, as we just said, just behind her compatriot Mira Erda. Rio Kamikado takes the 3rd spot ahead of Lyubov Ozayetkovskoya. Arya Singh in 5th, Amir Harris in 6th, Muiz Mushafir in 7th. Malte Jacobsen then takes the 8th position ahead of Ali Akabi, Luke Allen, Josh Smith, Shihab Al-Habsi, Alistair Young and Elias Stepanen. As you can see, everybody rolling into the positions right now, and in just a moment we'll be underway. You can see the marshal on the right hand sides of your screen. He's going to run across the crowd with a green flag, which indicates the red lights are about to come on. When they come on, the drivers will have their warning to start revving their engines. As soon as the red lights come off, we'll be underway and good to go. And for the 7th race, or the 3rd race this weekend, I should say. There you go, there's the green flag being waved. Everybody's on the throttle. There we go, the lights must have extinguished because we're underway right now. You see Mira coming across up behind Sneha. Let's look further down the grid. Josh Smith and Luca Allen still maintaining their positions. Let's have a look at Elias Stepanen. He's being blocked out by Shihab Al-Habsi at the moment. Back to the front of the grid. Is anybody going to be able to make a move? No, they're not, because Sneha has an excellent start as Alistair Young tries to go around the outside of what looks like Arya Singh. And it looks like Luke Allen trying to go up the inside. Oh, there's a big collision there. Looks like somebody went into the back of Alistair Young. A blue car, that might be Luke Allen. But unfazed at the front of the grid is Sneha Sharma, and right behind her looks like Arya Singh is trying to make a move now, coming up the outside of turn 4. Mira must have been his victim at the last corner, and we didn't quite catch that, as Alistair Young now going around the outside of car number 19. That's Malaysia's Amir Harris joining us this weekend, and up the inside comes Elias Stepanen, trying to get past both of those drivers and through to turn 5 and then turn 6. And coming around turn 6, Arya Singh leading the grid. Beautiful driving from the Indian driver, only joining us this weekend. And just behind him in car number 6, a yellow car number 6, that's Rio Kamikado. Of course, Rio got a lot of experience with Formula 4 last year. The only Japanese representative on the grid this time around once again. And he's going to try and make a move now on Mira coming up into turn 9, but he's blocked out by car number 13. That's Muiz Mushafir, the orange car, who's trying to go up the inside of everybody at turn 9. Can't quite see what happened there, but it looks like he definitely made a move on the yellow car of Mira Erda. Rio Kamikado, I should say, and unfortunately Malte Jacobsen seems to have come off at some point on his beach now. There may be, I'm sure there'll be a yellow flag, there may be a safety car, but I can't quite tell what position he came off at, so it might be safe to continue racing without either of those conditions. Coming around turn 13 now, beautiful move there by Josh Smith up the inside of Muiz Mushafir at turn 13. Josh and Muiz now ahead of Shihab Al-Habsi, and Arya Singh at the front of the grid getting a nice little lead for himself, as Luca Allen, ladies and gentlemen, has moved up into P2 and is now making a move up the inside of Sneha Sharma at turn 15. And just behind him, Josh Smith is blocking out Muiz Mushafir as Mira Erda tries to make a move on her compatriot as well. Beautiful to see these cars racing in front of us, and great to see all this action. I hope there's more to come. Of course, this reverse grid situation does make things very, very interesting. But we have seen Elias Stepanen come from the back and win the last race, and Arya Singh is definitely taking advantage because he has a 2-second gap as the process start finish straight. But look at this, there's an orange car, I believe, of Muiz Mushafir trying to make a move up the inside. Could be Josh Smith instead. No, actually it's Shihab Al-Habsi trying to make a move up the inside of Josh Smith and Mira Erda, but he can't quite pull it off as everyone seems to stay where they are coming across turn 2. Here we go now, down up into turn 3. You can see Luca is got a bit of a gap now to the purple car behind him of Sneha Sharma, as Josh Smith seems to go up the inside on turn 2 to take the Indian driver and gain position of 3, exactly what he needs to do to catch up to Ireland's Luke Allen and try and beat his rival this weekend. As around the outside goes Alistair Young on Shihab Al-Habsi at turn 4, and they come down into turn 5 now. Let's have a quick look, see what's happening. Further down the grid, we can see that purple car. That would be Sneha, I believe, still defending as well as anyone could hope for against all the drivers who are now pouncing on her through turn 7 and 8. We can see Alistair Young trying to make a move, decides against it, gets into the slipstream. Oh, there's been an accident. Somebody has spun. That's an orange car. That might be Arya Singh, but he was leading the race, so hopefully not. Could also be Moise Mashafa. No, there's Moise in the number 13, so we'll have to find out who spun in just a moment. Hopefully not Arya, because he was having a very good race, but luckily everyone avoided any contact, so we're still going racing, and it's some racing to behold, ladies and gentlemen, as we come around turn 11 now, with what looks like Moise Mashafa just ahead of his compatriot Alistair Young, and just behind them Shihab Al-Habsi, but some beautiful driving from Sneha Sharma, who is currently in position 3, I believe, or might be in position 4 now, because I saw Josh get up in front of her earlier in the lap. But unfortunately our timing screen hasn't updated yet. Just to note, at the front of the grid we've got Luca Allen doing the fastest first, second and third sector so far of the lap. He's set to break the lap record, or the race record so far, as he comes up the inside now of Arya Singh at 10:15. Beautiful driving from the Irishman. But let's have a look what Moise can do here. They're going to be 4 wide. Some contact there with Sneha Sharma and Alistair Young. That might give her a puncture later on the race, but she might get a better exit now. She's going to maintain it. Coming along the outside of Shihab. Not quite, though. She does seem to actually have gotten a worse exit. Perhaps because of that collision, she might have gotten a puncture. Can't quite make it out. But as they come across the start-finish straight, let's update you on the positions. We've got Luca Allen, Arya Singh, Josh Smith, Moise Mashafa, Alistair Young. Coming down into turn 1 now. That's not going to stay the case very long, because Alistair's going to make a move up the inside of his rival, his competitor, his Malaysian compatriot, Moise Mashafa, and he does so beautifully, getting himself into 4th position, as Shihab Al-Habsi is now going to have to try and take advantage of that battle and get up past the Malaysian as well. Just further back, you can see a purple car and a red car. That looks to me to be Elias Panin and Sneha Sharma trying to make contact. Sneha does seem to have slowed down a little bit. Maybe a little bit of concern with her rear left tyre, which came into contact with Alistair Young's right front end plate a moment ago at 10:15, but hopefully she's okay, because she was driving beautifully up until that point. As they come now up the inside, there's going to be an overtaking maneuver. Looks like Amir Harris is going to try and make a move up the inside at turn 5 on Sneha Sharma. Let's have a look and see what happens, the conclusion of that battle. No, it looks like Sneha managed to hold him off, as Shihab Al-Habsi is right up behind the orange car just ahead of him, which I would believe is Mira Erda. Or perhaps, it must be Moise Mashafa, because we saw that battle earlier on. Here we go into turn 9 now. You can see Alistair leading his Malaysian compatriot as Shihab tries to go up the inside. Beautiful driving here. Quick replay of what happened at turn 7 and 8 moments ago. You see Alistair coming around. That orange car right there, I believe it's Mira Erda, must have taken a spin, sent a few other people out of their way as well. Looks like everyone avoided any serious damage though, luckily, and we're back to racing. There we are. So back to the front of the grid, or the mid-grid I should say. That's number 13, Moise Mashafa, just ahead of number 58. So that means, of course, Shihab Al-Habsi managed to maintain that overtake, as around the outside goes Rio Kamikado at turn 13 and 14. Doesn't quite manage to hold it off, maybe going a little bit wide, but he's got the slipstream now, and he's going to try and make a move down the back straight. But Lubov Ozrekovskaya as well is going to have to try and take advantage and get jump away past Shneha just ahead of her. Around turn 15, the cars come now with a beautiful display there in front of the Petron signage. Of course, all these cars are fueled by the Petron Blaze Racing engine oil and the Petron Blaze 100. So here we go down the main straight now. Quick look at the timing screens. Looks like Josh Smith just set the fastest 2nd sector. He's going to be up into 2nd position now, chasing down his rival Luca Allen. And just behind them, you can see number 13, that's number 10, Arya Singh, trying to make a move to get back position at turn 1 and 2, not quite managing to hold it off. Of course, Josh and Luca both have much more experience than Arya in this car, so it's completely understandable. The Indian driver only joining us this event without any pre-season testing, and these two gentlemen in front of him have a full year of F4 experience already under their belt. As you can see, Alistair Young, that's the result of his collision, presumably with Sneha Sharma at turn 15. His right front wing is bent down quite significantly, but he's still maintaining the pace, as Luke Allen sets the fastest first sector of the race, I should say. And around the outside tries to go Shihab Al-Habsi at turn 5, not quite able to do it, as Elias Panin is all over the back of that red car. He's going to make a move upside. They're going to be 3 wide through turn 7. Can they do it? Well, Elias Panin does, because in he goes into position 5, and that's good news for Finland. As we come down the straight now into turn 9, Alistair Young's got to be looking all over his mirrors to make sure this Finnish driver doesn't try anything on him, as Moise has a quick look up the inside of Shihab Al Habsi, but decides against it as they come through turn 9 with Amir Harris just behind them, out of reach at the moment. But the rookie driver, I'm sure, is not going to settle for where is he right now? 8th position, as he's got to get back up onto the overall podium. That's his goal at the moment. He's second rookie, 8th overall, but he's got a chance to get ahead of his compatriot Moise Mashaffer in the coming laps with 11 laps left to go. That's about 11 minutes left to go. That's about 5 laps. So there's lots of racing to come, folks. So don't go anywhere. Coming around turn 14 now, we can see Shihab trying to take advantage of Elias Stepanin, trying to get himself back up into that position, as Moise Mashaffer is just going to let them fight so he can wait for the perfect moment to make his move. As Amir Harris, you can see that gap is slowly diminishing, as Luke Allen, fastest first, second and third sectors once again. Here we go around turn 15. You can see the car of Shihab Al Habsi. You can make it out because he's got the yellow side pods as they come down the main straight. Let's have a quick look at the positions at the moment. Luke Allen, Josh Smith, Arya Singh, Alistair Young, Elias Stepanin, Shihab Al Habsi, Moise Mashaffer, Amir Harris. That's your top 8, ladies and gentlemen, as they come down into turn 1. Here we go with Alistair Young. This has got to be a bit of a difficult corner for him now, because we saw that damage to his right front wing, so he might be suffering there. Hopefully he'll be able to maintain this position. We've seen other drivers drive with the wing like that in recent history, notably another Malaysian, Nazim Azman, managed to hold on to his position in Buriram, Thailand 2 years ago with the wing in a much more shape than Alistair Young. So these cars, they can survive some damage, but there's also a tipping point. As around turn 4, we can see Alistair still leading the procession and the battle indeed for 4th position, with Elias Stepanin not quite able to make a move yet, as Ali Akabi, who presumably got caught up in that accident at turn 8, turn 7, a few laps to go, is now running in position 9, trying to catch Amir Harris. This is now the battle for rookie second position, as we come now through turn 5. Once again with the purple car on your screens, that's Sneha Sharma. Sneha trying to block Rio Kamikado. Rio trying to make the move inside, outside. Can't find a way past the Indian driver ahead of him. And perhaps that's a smart decision, because we've seen some collisions, but very, very nice move here from Rio, who just keeps his line, as Sneha goes a little bit wide through turn 7 and 8 and back down the straight now. We can see Ali Akabi leading us from Lubov Ozretkovskoya. Coming around turn 9 now, Rio Kamikado once again. Beautiful yellow car there, as we're back to the mid-grid now, with Alistair Young still leading from Elias Stepanin. Let's have a look at their lap times. Alistair doing a 2:17 dead last time around, with just 2/10 behind the Finnish driver, but his best time is about 0.08 of a second difference, so he's definitely got the pace to keep Elias behind him, at least for now, as once again Luke Allen sets the fastest second sector and the best lap of the race last time around. Coming down the back straight now, we can see there's still 8 minutes to go, which means about 4 laps, so here we are. Alistair Young still keeping that Finnish man behind him, as Shihab Al Habsi is defending now from Moise Mashaffer. Moise, of course, has a lot of experience in these F4 cars, having been the rookie runner-up and the 3rd place overall driver last season. As they come down the main straight now, with Alistair Young just ahead of Elias Stepanin. The gap as they cross the start-finish straight is 0.4 of a second, almost 0.5 of a second coming into turn 1. So Elias is just a little bit too far behind to make a move at the moment. The last lap, the two drivers did a 2:14.932, that's Elias, and a 2:15.160. Interestingly enough, Elias had the fastest VMAX of the fastest speed last time around, the fastest of the entire race so far, with 206.4 kilometers an hour. Coming through turn 4 now, you can see Arya Singh, who had been leading the race at one point, is now back into 3rd position, but that's still an excellent result for the driver, who hopefully will manage to hold on to it to the end of the race, and he may do that because he's still separated from the challenging Elias Stepanin by Alistair Young. But let's have a look at the start of the race. Here we go. Mira and Sneha gets away very well. In fact, Sneha has an excellent start and manages to build up a little bit of a lead, as all the drivers behind her are tussling. You can see that Ali Akabi pushing Luke Allen to the side. You can see up comes the inside Arya Singh there, making a move on Mira Erder, as around the outside tries Alistair Young. The cars all proceed very nicely through that second corner until this collision there with presumably Alistair Young. But that, ladies and gentlemen, terrible news. Alistair Young seems to have crashed off at turn 8, it looks like. That's terrible news for Malaysia, because he was their highest placed driver. In fact, he was challenging for 3rd position, might have been on the podium, but it looks like he just spun off there. Maybe there was some debris, or maybe there was some bad rubber on track from the accident earlier on in the session. Let's have a quick replay now and see what happened. Here we go, Elias on screen now, just behind Alistair Young. Alistair just loses it coming through. Very, very, very good driving there from Elias Sapanen to avoid any further incident, as we're back now to the front of the grid with Josh Smith, who is trying to track down Luke Allen just ahead of him. But with 6 minutes to go, and as we can see the safety car board just deployed, well, actually that's brilliant news for Josh Smith, because he was three seconds behind Luke Allen. But now with the safety car coming out, the two drivers are going to be bunched back up. And of course, Elias Sapanen is going to be right in behind Arya Singh. And that's going to be bad news for India, because we know how fast Elias is in these Formula 4 cars. In fact, setting the fastest first sector just moments ago of the race so far. So I don't know what Arya is going to do. He's going to have to look in both mirrors at the same time, because Shihab Al-Habsi has got an axe to grind. He was supposed to be up on the podium in the last race, but it all went wrong for him at turn 15. So of course, these drivers are all going to have to try and make a move coming down turn 1. Let's have a quick replay now and see once again what happened. There we are. This is Elias Sapanen just behind Alistair Young in the pink car. You can see Alistair just loses it coming through the middle of turn 7 and 8. And you can see there him reversing into the gravel trap on the exit, or perhaps the midpoint, you should say, of turn 8, as everyone else manages to avoid any further incident. Beautiful driving there from Elias, actually, to manage to avoid any contact. As you can see, the safety car leading us now through turn, I believe that's turn 6 actually, and with 5 minutes left to go, hopefully they'll recover their car this time around, which means another 2 minutes, which means we've got 3 minutes left on the board after the safety car comes in, hopefully, which gives us roughly 2 laps worth of racing to find the winner. And with 2 laps worth of racing, we know very well anything could happen in these Formula 4 cars, especially with Elias Sapanen just out of podium position, just behind Arya Singh. He's going to have to make a move every which way, but Arya might be able to take advantage of the battle between Luke Allen and Josh Smith, because Josh wants to be back up on the top of the podium to, well, as every racing driver would want to. A second ago we saw that Alistair Young's car is still beached at turn 8, so the marshals were trying to recover him, so we're definitely going to go for another lap. But they're very, very fast here at Sepang International Circuit. Of course, they've got 30 years worth of experience dealing with F1 cars, just like these cars actually, but a lot more advanced and a lot more power under the hood. So I'm sure they'll have the car cleared before we reach turn 10 next time around, which means the safety car lights will go out at turn 10. Then, in effect, the safety car will be coming in at turn 15 actually, where it'll enter the pit lane. That will then mean that Luke Allen effectively becomes the safety car, controlling the pace until they cross the start-finish straight, at which point we're back in racing. That's why you see all the cars slowing down behind the leader often in F1 races, because that leader car, that's controlling the pace, and that's a huge advantage for him. But also you've got to realize that it's not easy to do a restart, especially when you've got Josh Smith, who we know is ridiculously fast in the first and second sectors, breathing down your neck. You can see that right now. You can see Josh just waiting to pounce, waiting to find a place to overtake his Irish rival. And I'm sure Arya Singh feels exactly the same pressure with Elias Sapanen just behind him. But perhaps, ladies and gentlemen, Shihab Al-Habsi or Muiz Mushafir will surprise us, or even Muiz Mushafir's compatriot, Malaysian Amir Harris, a rookie driver who just joined us this weekend. But good news for Ali Akabi is that he's now bunched right up behind Amir Harris. So the battle for the rookie podium, or rookie second, between Ali Akabi and Amir Harris is going to be very interesting coming into this turn 1. And maybe Ali will, of course, live out his dream and get up to the overall podium. That's always an opportunity, and with the battles set to take place at turn 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm sure the driver has exactly that in mind, and will hopefully put on a display for us very soon. As you can see, Mira Erda coming around behind Sneha Sharma and Ryoko Mikado, as Lubov Ozerkovskaya once again is the leading lady. As we can see, the safety car is still out, so hopefully it will come in this lap. In fact, from race control, we heard earlier that the safety car will be doing one more lap, so hopefully that means we can in this lap. We get to race in 2 minutes on the board. That means we're only going to have one lap to decide everything, just like race 1. And it will be very interesting racing to see, as you can look at Sneha trying to trying to take a peek up the inside of Rio Kamikado as to turn 2, turn 5, but of course she knows she can't do anything while we're waiting behind safety car, so she's just planning, I'm sure, for the restart to come. Of course, we've talked to these drivers previously about how they prepare mentally and of course physically, but the mental side of it is an aspect that perhaps is not thought of as frequently. The pressure you have to deal with seeing somebody is very fast in your mirrors is very real indeed, but these drivers are becoming more and more experienced the more we talk about them, and hopefully everybody will be able to make what want them true, but at the end of the day only one man in the race, and at the moment that's Luca Allen just ahead of Josh Smith and Arya Singh, so it'll be very interesting to see what happens come the restart. Let's have a look at the safety car now to see if the lights have gone out. I think they should be extinguished. There we go. The blinkers and the lights on top of the safety car have extinguished, which means it will come in this lap. And as you can see, Luca Allen has already noticed that because he's slowing down the whole pack, taking control of that grid of cars. And I'm sure he's got a strategy to try and keep Josh in that second position. He did so before in race 1, but Josh may have learned a few things since then. And might be able to take advantage and maybe up the inside of turn 1 or around the outside of turn 1 and into turn 2, we'll see something very interesting happen. But let's have a look at Arya Singh. He's doing some very fast lap times, and he's got a good car under him, I think. So he might be able to make something very interesting happen with the restart. But looking at the best lap times, Luca Allen is about just about 3/10 faster than Josh Smith, at least his best lap time. So here we go. We're gonna go. We're going to come around the start finish straight now, but with 8 seconds left on the board, and we just heard in our ear from race control, seems like the last lap may be cancelled. Let's have a look and see if there's a checkered flag. Yes, there is indeed. Unfortunately, that means that we finished on that second car just after the safety car came in, which is not what you want to see, but still up until this point has been some fantastic racing with Luca Allen and Josh Smith fighting their way up into first and second, and Arya Singh from India, our first Indian on the podium in quite a while, making a third position, so that's beautiful to see as well.
First of all, starting back in P11 is always tough to try and get up into the top 3. Got a clean start, not as good as Lucas, and took me a bit longer to get through the pack than him, so he got a nice gap and sort of keeping it around the same margin. And then when I saw the safety car boards, my eyes just lit up. I really wanted to seize the opportunity and went around for a couple laps, and I was expecting maybe 1 or 2 laps, and I saw the checkered flag, so a bit of a bummer, but I'm happy to be on the podium again.
The race was pretty great. I think it's on the start where, I gained a lot. I got a good start. I started 5th and I was already first before this 3rd corner. And of course, I knew that these guys will be catching me up pretty soon. And so I was just trying to, hold my place, not try to go off or anything. Yeah, the goal is just to improve my driving. I'm pretty sure that this one was a one-off podium, but yeah, I'm pretty far off the faster guys, so I need to focus on catching up on them.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, really we've reached the end of the race. So for me, Aaron Thompson, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you again very soon.